Hi, K-pop lovers. Welcome back to our channel. April 17, 2026. Tokyo Dome, Japan. 110,000 army packed that stadium. The stage was on fire. BTS was back, after 7 long years away from Japan. And Jimin? Jimin was absolutely delivering. But here's what millions of fans watching the global cinema live stream saw instead: someone else's face. That's right. While Jimin was center stage, singing, dancing, commanding that entire arena, the cameras were pointed somewhere else. And ARMY? ARMY noticed everything. Before we dive deep into this, if you're a real one, hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and turn on that notification bell because we are not done exposing this story. Drop a comment below. Do you think this is intentional? Let's talk. Now let's get into it. To understand why this moment was so massive, and why the camera failure hurts so much, you need the full picture. BTS had just completed their mandatory military service in South Korea. All 7 members, RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, were finally back together after years apart. Their new album Arirang had already taken the world by storm. And the Arirang World Tour, their 4th world tour, kicked off on April 9, 2026 in Goyang, South Korea. This is no small tour. We're talking over 85 dates, across 34 cities, in 23 countries. Bloomberg News had already called it their largest world tour to date. Then came Tokyo. April 17th and 18th, 2026. 2 sold-out nights at Tokyo Dome. 110,000 fans total. It was BTS's first time back at that venue since July 2019. 7 years of waiting, 7 years of longing, finally answered. Jimin himself delivered a heartfelt letter to the Japanese crowd at the end of the show, saying he was grateful to be back and that he would work harder to show fans more and more beautiful stages. Beautiful words. Beautiful performer. Beautiful stage presence. So why was the camera avoiding him? Here's where it gets real. International ARMY who couldn't be there physically were watching through the official global cinema live stream, organized and produced by HYBE's own staff. This wasn't some shaky fan cam from the back row. This was the official broadcast. And what fans noticed sent social media into a complete frenzy. Every single time Jimin had a solo part, a moment specifically built around him, the camera would cut away. Pan to another member. Zoom in on someone's jacket. Focus on the crowd. Anywhere but Jimin. Fans immediately flooded X, formerly Twitter, with the hashtag BTS_World Tour_Arirang and the phrase that became a rallying cry overnight: show Jimin properly. One fan wrote, "We are tired of the poor camera work during Jimin's parts. He's a main dancer and top-tier performer, yet the camera consistently misses his center moments. Fix the direction immediately and show Jimin properly." Another said, "As a Jimin fan, I feel outraged by the cruel, insignificant, and malicious treatment that big hit music is giving Jimin. Why not film him? Why is he overshadowed? Why not let him shine like the others in BTS?" The anger was real. The frustration was real. And the evidence? The evidence was right there on the screen for millions of people to see. But here's the part that will give you absolute chills. It wasn't just the fans who noticed. Some viewers pointed out that Jungkook himself, during the live concert, appeared to try and physically redirect the cameraman's attention toward Jimin while Jimin was performing. Think about that for 1 second. A fellow member, on stage, in the middle of one of the biggest concerts of their lives, noticed the cameras weren't capturing Jimin and tried to fix it himself. If even your own bandmate has to intervene in real time, something is very, very wrong. And I need you to stay with me, because this is not where the story starts. Stick around, because what fans uncovered going back to the very beginning of this tour will make your jaw drop completely. Tokyo got the headlines. But this camera issue started long before Japan. Fans who carefully reviewed footage from the Goyang shows, the opening dates of the Arirang World Tour in South Korea, were already flagging camera problems during Jimin's parts from Show 1. They raised it online. They tagged Big Hit Music. They tagged Weverse. They tagged everyone who could possibly do something. Nothing changed. Show after show, concert after concert, 5 shows in, and the exact same pattern continued. 5 shows. That is not a mistake. That is not one bad cameraman having an off night. After 5 consecutive events with the same problem targeting the same person, that is a pattern. Fans also noted something even more specific. During group dance sequences, instead of pulling the camera back to capture the full choreography, which is objectively stunning and what audiences want to see, the camera would zoom into a single member's face during the exact moments Jimin was supposed to be featured. The result? You don't even know Jimin did those parts unless you hunt down a fan cam. Fan cams. Shot by fans with their personal phones. Doing a better job than the official production crew of a $100 million world tour. Let that sink in for a moment. Now, some of you might be newer to the BTS world, so let me give you the context that makes this even more baffling. Park Jimin is not a background performer. He is one of the most decorated and globally recognized artists in BTS, a group already considered one of the greatest live acts in music history. He is Dior's global brand ambassador, one of the most prestigious fashion houses on earth, a role he's held since January 2023. His solo debut album Face broke records upon release. His second solo album Muse, released July 19, 2024, was written and recorded entirely before he went into the military, because that's the level of dedication this man operates at. While still in military service, he pre-recorded a live performance of his single, Who, for The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, because he refused to leave Army without content. He attended Dior's Paris Fashion Week in October 2025. In December 2025 he was named Global Ambassador for Korean haircare brand Later. And just days before the Tokyo shows, in April 2026, he hosted a live Q&A on Facebook that drew over 2.3 million concurrent viewers. 2.3 million people watching him at the same time. This is the person whose center stage moments are being missed. This is the person whose solo parts are being cut away from. Does that make any sense to you? Because it doesn't make any to us. Now, here's where I want to be honest with you, because this channel doesn't give you drama without giving you the full picture too. Let's look at both sides. The fans who believe this is intentional point to consistency. It happens across multiple shows, multiple countries, multiple filming crews. That level of repetition is very hard to explain away as simple incompetence. They point to how targeted it is, other members are being filmed properly, group moments are captured, it specifically happens during Jimin's individual parts. They point to the fact that Army warned Big Hit Music publicly after the Korean shows, and the company had all the data and feedback it needed, and still, in Tokyo, the same problem happened again. And they point to Jungkook's on-stage intervention, which would simply never happen if this were ordinary bad camera work. On the other side, live concert filming is genuinely chaotic. You have dozens of operators, a live director calling rapid shots, simultaneous action happening across a massive stage. Mistakes do happen. And to be fair, the Tokyo Dome concerts had an unusual atmosphere. Japanese Army famously put their phones down and held their light sticks up instead, creating an overwhelming wave of energy that captured global attention. Multiple outlets covered it as a beautiful cultural moment. That kind of atmosphere can genuinely affect how live directors operate. Big Hit Music has also not officially responded to the camera complaints, which cuts both ways. It could mean dismissal. Or it could mean they're working to fix it quietly. The truth is, We don't know for certain what the intention is. But the pattern is undeniably real. The impact on fans is undeniably real. And Jimin, and the millions of ARMY who love him, deserves better from the official production team. That much is not up for debate. Here's what makes this so urgent right now. The Arirang World Tour is just getting started. After Tokyo, BTS heads to Tampa, Florida, Raymond James Stadium, on April 25, 26, and 28, 2026. That's the official launch of the North American leg. Then El Paso, Mexico City, Stanford, Las Vegas, and that's just May. Over 85 dates still ahead. Millions of fans around the world watching on cinema streams, on Weverse, on broadcasts, all depending on HYBE's camera crews to capture the full performance. Will the cameras finally show Jimin properly? That depends entirely on whether the pressure from ARMY reaches the right people in the right rooms. And that is exactly why this video exists. Because awareness matters. Because a performer who delivers handwritten letters to audiences, who pre-records TV performances from inside military service, who pulls in 2.3 million people to a casual Facebook Live, that performer deserves to be seen. Not hidden behind a poorly aimed lens. Not cut away from at the exact wrong moment. Not made invisible when he is anything but. Jimin said he would work harder to give fans more and more beautiful stages. The least the production team can do is point the camera at him when he does. So that's the full story, verified, factual, and up to date as of April 2026. The camera issue at the BTS Arirang World Tour is real. It started in Korea. It continued through Tokyo Dome. And with the North American leg just days away, ARMY is watching, and they are absolutely not going to stay quiet. What do you think is really going on? Is this careless production? Something deliberate? Or a combination of both? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and I want to hear from you. If this video opened your eyes or showed you something new, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps more people find the truth. Share this with every ARMY you know, especially every Jimin stan who deserves to see this. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss when we break the next story. This is not the end of this conversation. The Arirang World Tour is only just beginning. And we will be watching. Purple U, ARMY. Purple Heart Annyeong.